So I've just finished a 6-month project for a friend, and it's what I consider the ultimate fast road Vauxhall Nova. And in today's video, we're going to show you exactly how much power she is making. But stay tuned to the end, as it can only be described as a bombshell ending. So we're going to start with a quick recap. Now rewind back to September last year. Carl, my friend, the owner of the car, dropped off a freshly rebuilt C20XE engine. So even though the engine had already been rebuilt, the plan was always to strip it. Now I was going to strip it, check it over and check the gaskets. However, I'm so glad when I did strip it that we did, because some of the bearings had been fitted wrong, had the wrong head washers on it. There's even gaskets missing. It was a nightmare. So yeah, really pleased we did strip it. So yeah, it was a mess, but we did plan to strip it and put some new gaskets in it anyway. And we was going to build it to a standard spec, because 150 horsepower in a Nova is going to be more than good enough, right? So Carl quickly changed his mind and we ended up going to town on the engine. I fully rebuilt it with new gaskets, bearings, steel conrods, forged high comp pistons, you name it, it had it. I fitted a refurbished cylinder head with new QED cams and pulleys, timed it all up, then fitted a set of 45mm direct-to-head QED Gen V throttle bodies. So the engine's now ready, it's now time to start working on the Nova. Now the Nova's a 1.2i late model Mark II, and it is one of the cleanest Novas I've ever seen / worked on. Stunning example, really nice car, but being only 45 horsepower, the power didn't match the look of the car, so we needed to do a performance upgrade. So I pulled the car into the garage and quickly set to removing the engine. The bay was super clean, so I masked everything up to avoid damaging it, as well as removing the bonnet. The suspension was stripped and hubs were sent off to Harry Hockley to be converted to big block. Once the shafts were out, I dropped the engine and box from the bottom of the shell. I then got the grinder and welder out. So the engine bay needed some clearance for the alternator, so I slotted the chassis leg and folded it in slightly. Then I filled the rest and welded it all up so it was nice and strong. While the welder was out, I also stitch welded the cross member and reinforced it just for some extra strength. Then I seam sealed a lot, stone chipped the bottom bit, then gave it all a good few coats of 2K direct gloss so it looks new again. So I gave the engine bay a few days to cure, and then I started fitting the tuned C20XE. So I fit the lightweight steel flywheel and clutch, and then I dropped the engine in from the top and then pushed the gearbox on once the engine's in situ. This saved me jacking the car up and made it a lot easier to fit the engine by myself without risking damaging anything. I then fit the engine mounts and check out that alternator clearance. The engine bay is really starting to take shape now. Next up was all the hoses, both coolant and oil breather. I used new silicone hoses for both. I had to make up the breathers using a custom catch tank. I then fitted the 2-litre hubs, polybushed arms, as well as the new big block shafts and coilovers. I fitted 2-litre brakes with drilled and grooved discs along with racing brake pads. I had a month off and then I did a few bits at home, like fitting this lift, which has made the job so much easier. The next job was to fit a big bore Ashley manifold. Now this is a 2.5-inch exit pipe, and I made a 2.5-inch mild steel system custom made after this. Now I've made loads of exhausts over the years, but never on a lift, so this is a real treat for me. As it was mild steel, I gave the whole thing a good few coats of very high temperature black paint and welded on a stainless steel tip. Now back to the engine. So I sent the injectors away to Ian Pepper and got them tested and rebuilt. Flowing as good as new, they were fitted along with new fuel lines and a high pressure in-tank pump. The original engine loom was incorporated into the chassis loom at the Nova, so I stripped it all back and removed everything I didn't need. I then joined the DTA loom to this, so all the dash and everything else worked just as it should. The mat was installed on the DTA ECU, and I continued to wire everything in using proper plugs, heat shrink and solder where needed. The loom was wrapped in cloth tester tape to finish it off, and the throttle cable was made and fitted. It was pretty much done by this point, but we still needed to do a few things like make a gear linkage setup. Original Novas aren't great, so I fitted a custom Cavalier shifter with a rose jointed Nova linkage. I had to take the dash out and the heater out to do this, but it was worth it. Once everything was out, I cut a piece of the centre console support away and used a template from my own Nova to drill the hole for the internal shifter. I then fitted it all on a raised platform for easy shifting. Now this feels so much better now. So now it starts and drives, so the next job's to get an MOT on it. As you can imagine, it passes with flying colours. I bring it back and fit the GSI side skirts. Now I used the correct clips and rivets for these, And that is my work pretty much done on this car. Now, in my opinion, the car looks absolutely fantastic. I'm thrilled with the overall outcome. Now it's back to Carl to get it tuned up on the rolling road. So I've been doing this YouTube live for a couple of years now, and I absolutely love it. And I really appreciate the support you guys give me. So what I've done, I've made some other social media platforms for you guys to follow me on. And you'll see a few behind the scenes shots, things like that, just other things that might interest you. So if you're interested in them, go and give them a follow and comment on my last video or post or whatever. Just write on YouTube so I know where you've come from. And obviously if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. Thanks guys. Now sadly I couldn't be there on the day of the rolling roads. So Carl sent me these videos. The tuner balanced the bodies and set everything up, including refining the cam timing. It was then ready for a couple of power runs. Now turn your speakers up guys and enjoy. So the car made 208 horsepower at 7,200 RPM, and I was absolutely thrilled with that. Now for the bombshell. So Carl sent me this message a few weeks after setting the car up. So that's right, he's done 60 miles in the car and it's not quick enough, he wants to go turbo. So in the next year or so, he's going to bring it back and we're going to do a 300 to 400 horsepower build on it and go to town once again. So I think on that bombshell, we're going to end the video and end the series. So please look at the playlist, watch all the videos in full if you've enjoyed this video and you've not seen the rest. Also, if you haven't already, please follow my other platforms and subscribe to this channel, like the video and leave a comment below. It makes a massive difference. See you later guys, and stay tuned for more. Bye bye.